Woo! What's going on, guys? Orms Form coming at you guys today. Today is the aftermath of Week 7. Detroit Lions going up to Baltimore, facing the Baltimore Ravens. Lions get pummeled 38-6. Lions falling to 5-2. Still number 1 in the NFC North. And the Ravens going up to 5-2 as well. Number 1 in the AFC North. So an absolute shellacking by the Baltimore Ravens. They turned us upside down and beat us up. Defensive wise, offensive wise, Lamar Jackson, our defense, their offense, our defense, everything went wrong, and we didn't have good game plan going on for this football game. But let's get to the injuries. We'll talk about the game. Running back Mahim Ibrahim, who just got called up when the practice squad, had a hip problem. He got on a kickoff. He got hurt. Surgery. He stayed in Baltimore and had surgery. So I'm assuming he's done for the year. That kid's got a bad luck in injuries, and so he stuck around in Baltimore, and he's getting some surgery done on his hip. And then linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez got a little dinged up too, had an ankle problem going on. He was playing some fullback, Malcolm Rodriguez. It was that crazy. So, and the Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell had a hamstring going on, but nothing too serious except for the Ibrahim, obviously with the hip injury. I'm assuming he's done for the year. So it's another running back down for the Detroit Lions. Now let's go to stats. We go to the road team, and we were the road team. So let's go to stats. Quarterback Jared Goff, 33 for 53. At a 62% completion percentage, 284 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 5 times. Not a good game. It was a swirly wind going on. Goff's passes all day were off, and he just didn't have it going on, man. His O-line didn't help him out. We'll talk about that too. So, and then rushing the ball, running back Jahmyr Gibbs got majority of the workload. He had 11 carries for 68 yards in 1 touchdown on a nice little scramble on the outside. Took the edge and was gone for, I believe it was a 21-yard touchdown run. 6.2 yards per carry. He was the only really silver lining if you're looking for one. And then running back Craig Reynolds was 3 for 16 on 5.3 yards per carry. So didn't get much on the ground except for Gibbs, who looked decent. The receiving wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown had 13 catches. I think that was a career high, I believe. 102 yards, 7.8 yards per catch, 19 targets. And then running back Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 catches for 58 yards on 6.4 yards per reception, 10 targets. Tight end Sam Laporta, 6 catches for 52 yards, 8.7 yards per catch, 7 targets. Then wide receiver Josh Reynolds, 2 catches for 43 yards, 21.5 yards per catch, and 3 targets as well. So, can't really say too much about it. Amon-Ra showed up. Gibbs was okay. So it was a tough game to watch. And then defensive-wise, you can't say too much about the defense. Safety Kirby Joseph had 10 tackles. Safety Tracy Walker had 7. Isaiah Buggs, a nose tackle, had 4. Linebacker Alexander Zaloni had 6 tackles. Defensive lineman Josh Pascal, first game back in the bit, had 4 tackles. Aiden Hutchinson only had 4 tackles. He did have a fumble recovery. And then linebacker Jack Campbell had 4 tackles. The linebackers were terrible. The whole defense was terrible. So we can't really, I'm just trying to throw some numbers out there. But no picks, no sacks. None of that again, guys. And people want to tell me we don't need a pass rush. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Mind-boggling to me. Okay, let's go to the Ravens offense. Quarterback Lamar Jackson was fantastic. He was untouchable. 21 for 27 for 77% completion percentage. 357 yards. 3 touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, nothing like that. Played a perfect game. Rushing the ball, running back Gus Edwards was 14 for 64. He had a touchdown, 4.6 yards per carry. Running back Justice Hill was 4 for 46, 11.5 yards per carry. And quarterback Lamar Jackson was 9 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown, 4 yards per carry. So total of 4 touchdowns for Lamar Jackson. He was perfect. Receiving, running back Gus Edwards had 1 catch for 80 yards per catch, 1 target. Wide receiver Zay Flowers, the rookie, who I told everybody to look out for, has 4 catches for 75 yards, 18.8 yards per catch, 6 targets. Tight end Mark Andrews, another guy I was worried about, had 4 catches for 63 yards and 2 tutties. 15.8 yards per catch, 6 targets. Wide receiver OBJ had 5 for 49, 9.8, and 7 targets. Wide receiver Nelson Aguilar had 1 catch for 12 yards and a touchdown. 1 target, 12 yards per catch. On a play, I remember this play. This might have been the second touchdown of the game. I can't really, if it was, I think it was the second. It was either the second or the third. He literally had 10 seconds to throw the football. Lamar Jackson. He was scrambling around a little bit. He was scanning around. He's kind of going in and out of the line, jumping around, kind of like ran to his right, ran to his left, threw and then threw the ball to Aguilar. But he had like almost 10 seconds, and he didn't even get touched. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But Lamar spread the ball all over the place. There was 9 guys who caught a pass yesterday, 9 players for the Baltimore Ravens. And their defense was shining, man. Their defense was phenomenal. Something I was worried about. Cornerback Arthur Mollett had 7 tackles and a sack. Safety Kyle Hamilton had 7 tackles. Linebacker Roquan Smith had 8 tackles. A pretty nice pass breakup in the end zone. I don't know if he had any more of those, but he did have a pretty nice pass. I think it was on Josh Reynolds too. And then linebacker Patrick Queen had 5 tackles as well. Defensive lineman Justin Matabuike, a guy I was worried about, had 3 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. Safety Geno Stone had 3 tackles and an interception. Linebacker Kyle Van Noy had 5 tackles, 2 sacks as well. Former Detroit Lion. And the linebacker Odafe Owe had 3 tackles and a sack and a forced fumble as well. Oh, and I forgot to say about the Lions too. Jameson Williams had like 6 targets. 2 or 3 of them were dropped. 2 or 3 balls were dropped. I know the one ball that went off his face mask, and then the commentators, Greg Olson and the other guy, were hysterically laughing about it. His arm was pinned by the safety. It probably should have been a penalty. I thought the refereeing was bad too, and I'm not going to use that as an excuse because we got our asses kicked. But the refereeing was terrible. But the JMO thing, he did drop at least 2 balls easily. 2 balls. They probably credited him with more than that, but he had 2 for sure. I would really like to check on that, but I don't know what's going on there. 1 week I'm praising him up. Next week we're talking bad about him. It looks like he gave up on a couple routes. It looks like he ran a wrong route on the pick to Geno Stone. He was going left. Goff threw it right. I don't know. It just everything. He was dropping balls. He was out running the football and trying to come back to everything. It was just weird. It was just a weird scene with JMO. And I'm not here to rip him or nothing like that, but I just want to see this guy stack games, stack good games, stack practices. And it's just not happening. But this was an ugly game, guys. I'm going to talk Lions offense and defense. The offense couldn't get anything going from right away. Like I said in my earlier, I did a little bit of a rant earlier about Brad Holmes. Does he pick somebody up or anything like that? Not ripping on Holmes, just kind of like, does he need to do something? And it's just, this game reminded me of that Panthers game. I said that in the other video. Reminded me totally of the Panthers game. Baltimore driving down the field, scoring at will. We're going 3 and outs. They're scoring at will. It just reminded me of the Panther game. I knew this game was done in the first quarter. You could just tell. The offense couldn't get going. Goff wasn't throwing nice balls in the wind. They were bringing that up constantly too about how the wind could affect Jared Goff because people know he doesn't have a strong arm, and people are going to get offended by that. And there's nothing really to get offended by it because I'm not even ripping him apart on it. It's a fact. He doesn't have a strong arm. He just doesn't. It's just that simple, right? And then the analysts just kept talking about it all the time. Oh, the wind could affect Jared Goff, the wind. And it did. It just didn't look like he was on. The whole team looked like garbage from the start. So I'm not putting this on Jared Goff because it's not even close to being his fault. He was off. The O-line was terrible. Gibbs was the only one who was doing something. Amon-Ra St. Brown was doing a little something too, obviously. That's really it on offense. It was just terrible. The Ravens would blitz us. Probably they blitzed. It felt like they blitzed a ton. It felt like they blitzed a ton. They were coming home. They were getting to Goff. If they didn't sack him, they would hit him. So it was working, whatever they were doing. And that's a top-notch defense. That's probably the second best defense in the NFL, next to the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion. In my opinion, the numbers kind of say that too. But yeah, and then the Ravens, and then the Ravens offense for our defense, we couldn't do nothing. If we even did get a little bit close to Lamar Jackson in a rush or a blitz, he just stepped out of it. Hutchinson was getting there a couple times. He had him actually. Hutchinson has missed a lot of sacks this year. He's missed a ton. He had him grabbing, and he just slipped out of his arms. He's so slippery, Lamar Jackson. Then I didn't really see anybody else pressuring him much. There wasn't too much pressure coming from anybody else really, except Hutch. And Hutch can't do it by himself. And the linebackers were terrible. Couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop Lamar. They couldn't cover Mark Andrews. The corners couldn't cover Zay Flowers or anybody like that. It was just there was nothing good to say. Aaron Glenn was pulling his guys off the ball for like the whole first half. It seemed like. Then in second half, the Baltimore Ravens just kind of just let up on the gas. They only gave up they scored 10 more points or something like that the rest of the way because they just let up on the gas. That's all they really did. They probably could have put 70 on us. Easily put 70 on us, but they didn't. So just an all-around horrific offensive and defensive effort by the Detroit Lions. Terrible. Now we can sit there and we can go, well, hey man, we're going to chalk this up as one of those look in the mirror type games. I don't want to hear that garbage. This is a bad game. You can't, if you're to be taken serious, you can't be doing stuff like this. You can't. I'm not going to panic because we are 5-2, and that's fantastic. We're going to win the North still. I'm more than positive we're going to win the North. But these type of games scare me. I don't like coming out games like this and just getting their asses handed to them. They didn't get off the plane. I don't know what they were trying to attempt to do. It was like they forgot how to play football, and that's the old SOL teams that would do stuff like that. Not come off the plane, not be prepared. They were out-coached, outplayed, outmanned, out everything. So this is a game, I guess, man, chalk it up as a loss. I wouldn't say throw it away, though. I wouldn't say throw it away because I would always try to come back to this game and go, we can never be like this again. If you think you're real, you always have this game in the back of your mind. That's how I would play it off. I would constantly remind my teammates and my players on what type of game this was. You have to. Like I know a lot of people will be like, no, you just throw this game away. Nah, not me, man. Because they got themselves exposed almost. I feel like they got exposed a bit. Now, the best is how do you come out of adversity? What do you do next? How do you answer what you just did in Baltimore? You got a home game. You got a home game coming up, Monday nighter in front of everybody. And you're playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 3-4. Not that good of a football team. Okay? They're not that good. So you should beat the Las Vegas Raiders coming in Monday night. You should decimate them. That's the next game. Everybody's already played. You're the last team to go. Monday night, let's go. You got to beat up on the Raiders. You got to beat them by 3-4 touchdowns. I think you do. You got to come out and you got to just put your foot right on their neck. And that's it. That's it, guys. Ugly game. Baltimore lost 38-6. 5-2. There's no panic. But it's a terrible game. Terrible effort by coaching, players, everybody involved in this one. Everybody. Not just one guy. Not just two, not three, not four. Everyone. Including staff and everything. So that's it, guys. Up next, Las Vegas Raiders at Ford Field, Monday night. That's it, guys. Thanks a lot for coming on and watching the video. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Go Lions. Let's go. One pride, baby. Boom.